welcome to the Geek Easy Lounge, fellow geeks. Where today, or now, we will be talking about Friend of the Devil, a Reckless book. It is volume 2 of 3. The fourth one's coming out soon. It's published by Image Comics, written by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Each book is an individual story. It's not like a trade. This is just basically a graphic novel. It is basically about a guy by the name of Ethan Reckless. He's kind of an ex-hippie burnout who used to work for the FBI, and I guess there was some sort of explosion. And so he's got issues. He doesn't work for the FBI anymore. And he owns a movie theater, which is out of business. That's where he lives. And so he and a woman run the place, even though that it's not officially open. And he sits there and watches movies all the time. His friend, they aren't really dating, but what he does is, whenever he needs money, he helps people. It's kind of an unofficial private eye, and he gets to decide which cases he takes and all that. And in this one, what happens is it starts out with him. He's searching for a guy who is supposedly dead. Goes into the library with an overdue book and tells the librarian, look, I need some information on this for a dead guy. And what it was is the guy was declared dead, and he thinks that he's alive. And he's looking for this guy for, I think, the ex-wife or something like that, and winds up quickly finding the guy. And that's... the librarian finds out that's what he did. They get to know each other. They start dating, and it turns out that her stepsister disappeared 8 years before, and she gets him to start looking into her disappearance. And of course, as always with these stories, the shit goes sideways. It takes place in the 80s. This one is in LA. Well, that's where the whole stories always pretty much take place. But this one deals with movie studios. Like this, the girl was a wannabe actress, and she just all of a sudden she just disappears, and so he has to go into start checking all these casting agents and movie people, and there's a cult and skinheads, and excuse me. That's one thing with Ed Brubaker, at least with these stories. Nothing is simple with these stories. It's just like, okay, find a missing girl. Okay. 8 years old, might not be able to do it. We have nothing to work with. And the more he digs into it, whatever the case is, but like this one too, the more he digs into it, the deeper the hole he digs himself into, and winds up getting into all sorts of wild shit. And that's one thing I love about these books. They are just kind of twisted and just kind of on the darker side. As you probably can tell, I do like darker stories. And the characters in this, or at least this guy, Ethan Reckless, he's not perfect. He's not even all that really good of a person. He's got his ethics and morals, and he'll do He's got his way of doing things, but he doesn't like dealing with people, but he does. If he says he's going to do something, he'll do it, and a lot of times it's just to piss people off. If he's where someone else would get the point. These people are trying to warn him off or whatever. They'd say, okay, I should back off. And he's like, yeah, no, what, you're threatening me, you're doing this, and they'll go at you harder. And this one, of the 3 that are out, this one isn't the best of the 3, but it's still good. You know what I mean? None of them have been bad. But, it's well drawn. I mean, if you look at these stories here, the art, it is, especially that one right there, it is the typical, it's good for the story. The way the story is written, it suits the story. And the stories are tight, but this one, I liked the other 2 better. That's not saying this one is bad. It's just not as good as as number 1 and 3. So I'm going to give this a 4.0. And still, recommend all 3 of the books. The 4th one's coming out soon, and I'll be picking that one up. But let me know in the comments below whether you liked it or not. Like, subscribe, and most of all, enjoy your comics.